Todd's not going to be happy about that one. That is definitely one of Todd's bucks. Yikes, he saw him first.
Oh, Justin, another topic that gets people fired up. When your neighbor shoots the buck that you're after. It
doesn't get me fired up, it gets me depressed.
That is probably when you need your depressant medication, but it's the one thing that I think people don't like to talk a lot about. I mean, I don't care who you are.
You mean we don't like to admit? We like to talk about it. We just don't like to admit our true feelings. We're men.
Oh, you got that buck? And you're like, you're completely defeated. Paul, don't give me that look. I know you've thought that way in your life. Tell the truth.
Dude, I've lost two of the biggest deer I ever chased. I lost to the neighbor.
What was the person's name? Beep.
Exactly.
See, my situation is different. I always lose them to the other guys that I hunt with. I need to pick worse hunting partners is what I need to do. I'm always the low man on the totem pole. Everyone else kills the good ones.
Mike Willand, I think he's talking about you right now.
Not just him, but there's other people as well.
Dude, he's taken a lot of your deer over the years.
Yeah, he's a better hunter than me. What do you want me to tell you?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, let's take it a step further.
Okay.
We all want to shoot bigger bucks. Everybody talked to always wants a bigger buck. But the question is, are you willing to do what it takes to be able to have an opportunity to shoot a bigger buck, which means letting them walk? You know,
that's what it means?
Well, I mean...
I thought you meant just like putting in hard work and time.
No, give me a break. You do that all the time. The point is, you got to let them walk if you want to shoot a bigger buck. And that's hard because your party is just like, he's getting ready to go on the neighbor's property. Gun season's coming.
If I don't shoot him, someone else will.
100%. You can't think that way.
Nope.
You got to hold.
I've always said this. If you are willing to pass a deer because you want it to live to the next year or even the next year past that, you just have to already come to peace with the fact that it probably isn't going to happen. The odds are not in your favor.
No.
In most cases, unless you're in some sort of ridiculous giant piece of property and multiple landowners working together, which, let's face it, is kind of a pipe dream for most people, right? It does happen from time to time, but for most of us, the minute you let that deer walk by, it's like, he's probably not going to live.
I agree.
Hi, Scott.
Scott, we're going to call you later.
So with that said, let's cut to 2021 with Todd doing this exact thing.
Got to let him walk. Just not the one I'm looking for right now. But you just gotta keep calm, stay the course. I know there's a couple good ones around. Over the next couple years, I kept getting trail camera photos of this buck, and I knew passing that buck was the right choice. And it just shows people, by letting them go, they do grow. This is a monster buck, and I planned on going all in on this buck in 2023. It's not going to happen tonight. He came out, but he's, I don't know, 1, 2, maybe 400 yards, 500 yards. The opposite direction. He's not going to make it over here. I can tell you that right now. Only got about 10, 15 minutes left. I've had 2 encounters with this buck now at about 80 yards. I just needed to get closer. I did lay my eyes on my big one again, but that's with 10 by 50 binoculars. I'm looking an awfully long way away. He's far.
After that third encounter of that giant buck, I continued to press on to try to find him, but unfortunately, I kept coming up empty-handed, so I decided to move off to a different property. But I was hearing from my neighbor Troy that the action was heating up in his hunting spot, so I'll be honest, I was starting to get nervous.
I am in the back northwest corner of the property. And it's like a pinch point between our section of woods and the neighbor's section of woods. There's a crossing right here. And pretty excited about this spot, just a transition point with this rut. Hopefully the bucks are cruising looking for does.
750. And that big buck is still over there with the doe. But just had the farmer come in and do some work on his tractors. Then he just left. I was hoping he was going to kind of bump him back, scare him back this way, but who knows, might be a long wait. I gotta conserve some battery.
He really was probably 45 yards in the thick stuff right by me the whole time. It's crazy. So I never saw the doe come out. There's no way. I mean, he's 70 yards right now. He was absolutely tearing trees up. Right from where he came from. She can't stay there. Anyways, so I'm like, couldn't get him to stop. He comes trotting out, yelling, grunting. Couldn't do anything. Anyways, checking my stealth cam. There he is. 9:30, 9:27. He's coming back. Literally, he's probably 200 yards away coming back. That's what you get hunting in the burbs a little bit and around farm country. You just gotta deal with it. You deal with some noise and unplanned chaos.
I had a change of plans this morning. I'm now hunting a place we call CCM. I don't know why it's called that. First time I've ever hunted this stand, but it's on the North Farm here in Northwest Illinois, and I had an awesome day yesterday on the South Farm. Had a new buck running around, dogging a doe and protecting him. Then I was gonna go back over there, but then this morning saw one of our main shooters show up on camera, and we haven't seen him in a little while, and he was alone, so I'm hoping he's patrolling this North Farm here. I can get a shot at him. He's a really nice buck. So we've got supposed to be south winds. And right now it feels awfully east, unfortunately. I'm expecting him to come to my left here, which is west. So I'm gonna stick it out just because I'm here at this point, but I don't know. Not a huge fan of the wind. Lucky face paint on it. Wind is terrible. Unless he comes to my right. I didn't hear him crash. I'm pretty sure that's him. I just happened to turn around to look into the sunset, and I saw a bush move back behind me, or a tree. And I caught a tail, and I just didn't know what it was. I just quickly grabbed my bow on the opposite side of the tree, turned, got the camera down here, and I think I just drilled him. I gotta double check, but it might have been a little back. It all happened so fast that I couldn't get him to stop. I never heard him crash. It sounded like he took a couple of steps and then that was it. That right there is why you use trail cameras. I was headed to the south farm, and because I saw him on the other side of this farm, I just figured he's up and maybe moving, patrolling, looking for does. Just looked at the footage, and boom! Todd's not going to be happy about that one. That is definitely one of Todd's bucks. Yikes, he saw him first. And literally we were calling him, Tim was calling him Todd's buck. And that can't work because at some point there's a good chance we'll kill him. Todd saw this buck on his camera, and he was nice enough to mention something, but we have, 2 stands over in this north farm, have some cameras, and we got him one time on our camera, like a couple weeks ago. I told Todd about it, and not really anything else, and then this morning, he shows up on the very west side of our property, just kind of walking into our property, and I figured he's gonna go in our swamp back behind us maybe, and if he's moving around, I've got a chance to capitalize. Thank you God, I happened to look back and catch a glimpse of something moving a tree, and I just figured I'm grabbing my bow no matter what because I heard that grunt back there. And by the time I got turned around, he's starting to enter this one opening on the right side. We got one opening, about 5 yards of opening when he's walking, and walked right into it. Thank God I got him to stop. 28 yards and made a good shot, a really good shot.
Hey, buddy.
Did you get him?
I got him, Todd. Sorry, dude.
I'm used to it. It's okay.
I know you're used to it. Oh my God, I made a good shot at about 30 yards. Just hammered him. Good morning.
Morning, Dad.
Guess what?
What?
Daddy just shot a big buck.
Oh!
And do you guys want to come out and see it and help me find it?
Yes.
Yeah! See if we can find the arrow. There it is. It looks pretty good. I got the whole army coming out now. Got my wife and 2 kids. Got my Tim and one of his sons. And now Todd just called me. He's like, I'm coming to see him. He's driving an hour and 20 minutes to come out here just to see it. And I said I'd wait for him. So I'm gonna get the family and we'll do a big track job, but I'm gonna wait for them to get out here. Oh man, what an adventure. What a day. So blessed. So blessed. We have got the crew. We've got Tim and his son Jack. Got my wife. And my 2 kids, Drake and Kendall. And we are going to go cover the buck. What a day. I love it, getting the family out. So we've got a little bit of a hike to get, but fortunately just across the field. And yeah, we'll take you with us.
How do you know what?
Yeah, this is Don and I came in here. He's so hardcore about like making sure the paths are wide open. You could drive a truck back here.
This
Fun
way.
blood?
It's going this
Right
way.
here.
Okay.
It's going this way.
Yeah, I see
Yep,
it.
there's. Wait, no, that's not.
More right there, Jeff. Oh, yeah. And the brown leaves. Yeah.
There's a plant right by you, Kendall. See those beggar's lice? That's what Mom has to pick out all day long.
Guys,
All day.
these things. Hey, don't get near those.
Please don't.
Those are the ones that get all over your coat.
I smell it.
You smell it?
Get her, girl.
It's over there.
Drake, get away.
Follow that nose.
You smell it?
That a girl. Smell him.
I see him.
Oh!
You see him?
Oh, yes.
Ah, she's my daughter. Sniff them out. That's how I found them.
Man, he's huge. Found him.
Nice.
I don't know. He was wearing a coat when I shot him. Crazy.
There we go. Don't smile. Don't have any fun.
Picture-wise, I haven't really done much. So let's get some pictures. And how do you want to do it? Do what?
Todd wants to sit behind it and
Bring your bubble.
Josh, can you choke him out real quick? No, dude, hey, dude, you guys, I got one off my new farm, and
which is off of our
realize-
property. That's
That is the deer.
that's
we have.
Poncho.
That's Poncho.
That was the one that I sent you trail pic.
I haven't gone through.
It's
and
100%.
sure if it was.
It's Poncho.
You stole. You
Fair
stole one of our
fair
deer,
trade.
so that's
Fair
payback.
Can we trade? Is there trading available?
No.
No? What do you mean no?
There's
Why
non-negotiables
not?
with the full
You didn't even see the one I got.
All right, November 12th, and what an awesome day. I'm tagged out here in Illinois, and this is a buck we specifically put this stand up for to try and target and put a stealth cam wireless out to try and capture him. We haven't seen him too much. I think we caught him one time, but Todd was seeing him. He hunts not too far from here. Anyways, this morning I had a plan to go to one other location where I had a ton of activity yesterday, and the stealth cam blew up this morning, and I saw him moving around and he was by himself, so I figured, you know what, he's cruising, I got a chance at him. That's exactly what happened. I came in here this morning and it was pretty quick. I got up in the stand, I heard a grunt, a doe came in and kind of ran off, and then probably 30 minutes later he comes walking in 30 yards and made a perfect shot. Broadside, he ran 20 yards. This whole thing, I have to call it out. I would not have killed this deer today if it weren't for the stealth cam, because I'm a long ways aware of where I would have been hunting. So he is a beautiful buck. I haven't even looked at what size or any of that yet, but he's got a nice kicker. He's at least a 4-year-old buck, and you know, what a season for me. I was able to do my first ever elk hunt and got an elk hunt down in New Mexico. Shot a really nice buck not too far from here about a month ago. Killed a doe with my kids last weekend, and now this. I'm so blessed to be able to do this, to have my family out here, my kids joining me, my wife, my best friend. Just so blessed to be able to do this and have the family support and be able to get this buck down today. So, you know, guys, if you're not using wireless cameras, it absolutely helps. It's the reason I ended up killing this deer. And you know, use everything you can, and then just enjoy it. And that's what it's all about. I am a happy hunter here today, tagged out in Illinois, bow hunt or die.
Can I have a moment, everybody? Please? Can everyone step out of the woods? No, I'm just kidding. Let's get him out of here.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, kids, we need to see you pull this deer out to the edge.
Wow.
Action.
See how much better that was when he says action like that?
No, it was great action. It was good action.
Speaking of action, Troy Spolam, what can I say? He's a good competitor.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's just one of those things, you know, and I think we talk about it a lot.
What,
You know,
trying to get rid of your neighbors and friends?
No, it's just like, you know, to make the story even more heartbreaking for the guy that's like putting in the time, the energy, the effort, like everything. It's like, oh, hey, we got a picture of this deer. I go in there and kill it. And you're just like, but that seems to be how it always happens, right? I mean, a lot of people always bring up that big one that I passed years ago, right? And I was like, that might have been stupid, but I want this deer to get another year older because he's got the potential to be a giant. He blew up next year, and the neighbor killed him. And it was the same story. Like, the neighbor didn't even know he was there. The guy that killed him did not know the deer was there, never had a picture of him. You know, he came by following a doe at the end of October, and the neighbor killed him.
I remember that deer. I mean, I remember that episode talking about it.
But, I mean, it seems to be like that's how it happens, right? I was going into the season, pictures, cameras, you know, stands are set, everything's ready to go.
Trail camera after trail camera photo.
And then that's it. Somebody, you know, so he walks past the neighbor and the neighbor kills him, and that's the end of the story. And sometimes that's just the way it goes. And, you know, in Troy's case, you know, that's just what happened. And I don't know what else to say. Man, he made a hell of a shot, though. Like, if I walked up to the side of that deer and drew a dot on his side and said, this is where I want to shoot him, like, I watched that arrow hit that deer, and I was like, hell yeah. Like, that was freaking perfect.
I'm not sure that's what I was thinking exactly when I saw that, when I got that on my phone. But the bottom line is, we've all been there before. Make sure you comment below. Make sure you share your story. I want to hear it. It's going to happen to all of us. And just for the record, there's been at least, and I'm going to get in trouble because this darn phone keeps ringing, but just for the record.
It said it answered your call.
It did answer my call? Oh, man.
You got your AirPods
Doug, we're going to have
on?
to call you back. We're filming a show. So, just for the record, there's been plenty of times that I killed his bucks too. Hubble.
Yeah. That one you killed at your place this year was from their farm. It's just like coincidence that you guys hunt almost right next to each other, like hundreds of yards apart.
It's terrible. I actually hate it, but it is what it is.
It's kind of fun. It makes for good content. And I think at the end of the day, like, for me, there's a very short window of, I guess you could call it disappointment, right? But for me, it passes pretty quickly. It's like the initial disappointment of like, oh shoot, that buck's gone, whatever, someone else got him. But then I kind of just, it's like, okay, it's over and done with. And now I can just, in a sense, sometimes it's a little bit freeing because you're like, okay, I can just worry about something else and going and doing something else now. Like, I try not to dwell on it. Like, it is what it is. The deer got killed. It's just a deer.
Yeah.
I'll go find another one somewhere and try to kill that one instead. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like people get a little bit too attached and emotional and hung up on things. Not saying that you do. I'm just saying people in general.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I did not want to get that deer. Of course I wanted to get that deer. Who would not want to shoot that deer? I mean, I had 3 or 4 unbelievable encounters with them. Seriously, hundreds and hundreds of trail camera photos and videos of the deer for multiple years. Let them pass, and it benefited Troy. Thank goodness he's on our team. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, it was cool. So congratulations to Troy. Heck of a season he's had, right? Between an elk, 2 big bucks here at home.
Which was also one of the bucks on my list.
Heck of a season Troy had, so congratulations to him. Congrats on making a perfect shot. It was cool to see, the family getting involved. It was cool to see Tim out there with his family as well. So congrats to everyone involved. Todd will survive. He's got more bucks to chase. Next up, we're going to jump into Ask the Experts, brought to you by the fine folks in Lancaster Archery. This one comes from Bob Verzone, who says, should I use a limb-driven or cable-driven drop-away rest, and why? It's a great question.
Which one do you like better?
I've only ever shot cable-driven rests, but I've heard a lot of good things about limb-driven rests, so let's see what PJ's got to say.
All right, guys, great question today from a bow hunter who wants to know, should I use a limb-driven or cable-driven drop-away rest, and why? So first, let's take a look at the 2 different styles of rest. This is the Hamskea Epsilon. This is a limb-driven rest. So in the resting position, that is when the bow is at rest, it's going to be in that position. As you draw the bow, the limbs are going to flex, that launcher arm is going to come up, raising your arrow, and then when you shoot, it's going to pull that back down. So that's how the limb-driven rest. This is the CBE Defy. This is a cable-driven rest. So, the way the cable works is this cord is connected to your down-moving cable. And so when you draw, it's going to pull that launcher arm up. However, most rests like this one, you're just going to have that cocked in the up position. Still, the cord is going to come tight as you draw the bow, and then when you release, it's going to drop away the rest there, and it's going to launch your arrow. So those are the 2, that's how they both function. Now, which should you use? Entirely personal preference. What I will tell you is with the limb-driven rest, folks who are fans of those, they tend to subscribe to the theory that they're probably a little more consistent. This is what they believe, because your limbs are going to do the same thing every time. There's no stretching, there's no variation with the limbs. So that is always going to function the same way time after time. You're never going to have to worry about it. Cable-driven, there is the cable, there is a chance that this cord could pull through, cable stretch, etc., etc. However, with this type of rest, your cord is going to be much shorter to that connection position. With the limb-driven, your cord's going to run all the way from the rest down to your limb. That's a long cord. You're moving through brush. That's something that can get snagged. Not quite a problem with the cable-driven rests. And then, quite frankly, you're probably going to have more options and more price points with the cable-driven rest. There just simply aren't as many limb-driven rests, and there's not much price variation there, as there is with the cable-driven. So, which one you shoot is entirely up to you. Both of these are high-functioning rests. They're both going to give you that drop-away action that you're looking for. It's strictly a matter of preference whether you want to go cable-driven or limb-driven.
Well, as always, thank you, PJ, for the knowledgeable advice. You got to go with what he says, because you know what? They are the fine folks at Lancaster Archery, and they happen to know a heck of a lot more about bow and arrows than me and Justin do. That is a fact.
I'm going to stick with my cable-driven, I think. One of these years, I'm probably going to go, maybe I'll try a limb. I don't know. Maybe next year.
I'm sticking with what has worked for me for now.
Fair enough.
With that being said, we got to get into the fun part that we always do, trophy photos, although seems like been getting a little bit of heat on the trophy photo thing since I mixed things up last time around.
Things up?
We just mixed things up last time.
We did?
Let's go back to the way we've always done it.
All right.
Starting off with Brandon Hobbs, Indiana.
Caden Riggs, Indiana.
Holly Zook, Pennsylvania.
Nathan Miller in Wisconsin.
Nick Cresson, Wisconsin.
And Spencer Kirkpatrick down in Georgia. Congratulations to everybody on some fine trophies.
I always like getting to this part right here.
Well, yeah.
I mean, look at this.
This is the money shot.
Nathan and Nick are from Wisconsin. Young, both of these guys are young. Hey, listen, guys, if you ever want to share one of these bucks with me or Justin, don't forget to reach out. We'll always be willing to share some Bowhunter Die swag even more with you if we can hunt with you.
I'll bring you a free hat if I can hunt your farm and shoot one of your deer.
I'll bring a couple $100 too. All right. All right.
It's becoming a rich man's sport.
Let's go here. Who is the lucky winner? Well, I love doing this, so let's go ahead and work this through together. Justin, I'm sorry, but Nathan Miller, you got to learn how to pose that deer. You can't stretch him out to make him look bigger. Nick, beautiful sunlight, looking good. Could have got his shoulder up a little bit higher. Spencer, not too bad.
He's got a smile. He's not smiling.
Oh boy. Here we go, Brandon.
He's mean mugging. Holly, big smile.
Holly's got a big smile.
Brandon's smiling. Man, this is a tough. This is tough.
This is legitimate. I'm gonna let this one be decided by you this week, Justin.
Give it to me, Graf. It's gonna be.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
I'm gonna go with Nick. Nick Cresson.
And I'm gonna also allow Caden win too. It's the holiday spirit.
Caden
It's the
was
holiday spirit.
Caden and Brandon were my two next ones. I just, something about the background in Nick's image with the colors on the trees, big buck, big smile.
Two winners this week. We love winners.
So who is our second winner? You picked Caden?
Yeah, man, look at, yeah.
It's a great photo. And a velvet buck? That's awesome. Good
There
for
you
him.
go.
Congratulations, Caden and
Making
Nick.
Paul work harder, putting 2 gift packs together. Get us your information. We'll
info
get that
to
stuff
us.
sent out to you. Don't forget.
And let us know how you feel about the neighbors killing your deer.
Comment below. We wanna
Sometimes
hear it.
we're the neighbors killing other people's deer. So it kind of goes like it goes both ways.
It goes both
Sometimes
ways.
we're the neighbors that people are complaining about. Usually when they complain about me, it's not because I'm shooting their hit listers, it's because I'm shooting their up-and-comers. That's why they complain about me. So thank you to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave your comments below. We will see you next week right here on Bowhunter Die.
Wow.
It is. Todd, don't touch it.
Careful, careful. Go, Kendall. They need your muscles. They need your muscles.